Imagine waking up tomorrow to the biggest scientific breakthrough in human history. Scientists discover a safe treatment that allows people to live for 500 years while remaining healthy for most of their lives. At first, the world would celebrate. Diseases associated with aging would become rare. People would no longer fear growing old at 70 or 80. Instead, a person might still feel energetic and productive at 250 years old. The way we think about life would change overnight. Today, many people feel pressured to choose a career in their 20s, start a family in their 30s, and retire in their 60s. But with 500 years ahead, there would be no rush. Imagine spending 50 years learning medicine, another 60 mastering music, and decades afterward exploring entirely new fields. A single human lifetime could contain several complete careers. Education would also transform. Universities might offer programs lasting decades rather than years. Learning would become a lifelong pursuit in a way we can barely imagine today. Relationships would face new questions as well. Would people still marry for life if life lasted 5 centuries? A promise that currently spans perhaps 50 years could suddenly mean spending hundreds of years with the same person. Governments, businesses, and families would struggle to adapt to a society where generations overlap for centuries. Great-great-great-grandparents might still be alive and actively working. For the first time in history, humanity would not merely extend life. It would redefine what it means to be human. Yet the excitement of longer lives would soon reveal challenges no one had anticipated. And those challenges would begin with one simple problem: the planet itself. If people stopped dying of old age, Earth's population would grow at an unprecedented rate. Even if birth rates declined, the number of living humans would continuously increase. Cities would expand upward and outward. Megacities housing hundreds of millions could become common. Housing would become one of the greatest challenges. Land is finite, but people living for centuries would continue occupying homes, jobs, and resources. Governments might introduce population controls or incentives for smaller families. Some countries could limit the number of children citizens are allowed to have. Food production would need to reach extraordinary levels. Agriculture would become increasingly automated and efficient. Vertical farms, lab-grown meat, and advanced food technologies might become essential for survival. Natural resources would face enormous pressure. Water, energy, and raw materials would be consumed by billions of people living far longer than ever before. At the same time, environmental concerns could intensify. More people living longer means more consumption, more waste, and potentially greater strain on ecosystems. The dream of colonizing space might suddenly become a necessity rather than an ambition. The Moon, Mars, and artificial space habitats could become new homes for humanity. Yet overcrowding would not be the only issue. Another challenge would emerge inside society itself. If people remained alive and active for centuries, who would get the opportunities that younger generations traditionally inherit? The answer could reshape civilization in ways few people expect. Today, older generations eventually pass on wealth, leadership positions, and influence to younger people. In a world where humans live for 500 years, that process would slow dramatically. Imagine a company whose CEO has held the position for 180 years. Imagine political leaders, professors, business owners, and influential families remaining powerful for centuries. Young people might struggle to find opportunities because older generations would continue occupying positions that normally become available through retirement or death. Economic inequality could grow to unprecedented levels. Families accumulating wealth for hundreds of years might become extraordinarily powerful. Innovation could either flourish or stagnate. On one hand, centuries of experience could produce brilliant thinkers and inventors. On the other hand, societies might become resistant to change if powerful individuals refuse to let go of old ideas. Culture itself would evolve differently. A person born in 2025 could still be alive in 2525, carrying memories of 5 centuries of history. Imagine speaking directly with people who witnessed events that today exist only in textbooks. History would no longer feel distant. It would be living memory. However, there might be psychological consequences as well. Can the human mind truly handle 500 years of experiences, memories, relationships, victories, losses, and heartbreak? That question could become one of the greatest mysteries of all. At first glance, living for 500 years sounds like a dream. More time to learn, more time to travel, more time to love, more time to achieve goals. But happiness has never depended solely on the amount of time we have. Many psychologists believe that the awareness of life's limits gives meaning to our choices. Knowing that time is precious encourages us to act, create, and pursue our dreams. If humans had centuries ahead of them, procrastination might become a way of life. Why start today when you have hundreds of years left? Some people might feel liberated by endless possibilities. Others might experience boredom unlike anything humanity has ever known. The emotional burden could be immense. A 500-year-old person might witness the deaths of countless loved ones, the rise and fall of nations, and dramatic changes in culture and technology. At the same time, humanity could achieve extraordinary things. Scientists might spend centuries solving problems. Artists could perfect their craft beyond anything we see today. Explorers could travel between worlds. Perhaps the greatest change would be our perspective on existence itself. Living for 500 years would not simply extend life. It would transform every aspect of society, from family and education to economics, politics, and psychology. The real question is not whether humans could live for 500 years. The real question is whether we would remain the same species after doing so. And if given the choice, would you choose 5 centuries of life, or would a shorter life, filled with purpose, still be enough?